A biker fights for his life. Next on BBC One, helicopter heroes to the rescue.
If you're critically ill or seriously injured, seconds count. And in Britain's biggest county, you can be a long way from help.
Where's the patient?
He's stuck under the car!
The Yorkshire Air Ambulance flies at 150 miles an hour, and thanks to its speed, hundreds of patients are alive today, saved by a highly skilled team of doctors and paramedics.
Stand clear, everybody. Keep going, mate.
It covers some of the UK's most rugged landscapes,
Turning roadsides into operating theatres.
We're going to pop him off to sleep with an emergency anaesthetic, OK?
and town centres into helipads.
Good on the left.
Just behind you, Tim.
And every day the Helimed team's skill, speed and courage is saving lives. Today on Helicopter Heroes.
A biker is fighting for his life, and the team's in a hurry.
The patient has got serious facial injuries. We're just going to scoop and run him.
Countless lives have been saved by these. The Helimed team won't leave the ground without one, and thousands of bikers owe their lives to them. But some crash helmets are safer than others.
The market town of Helmsley on the edge of the North York Moors is a mecca for bikers. And this is the reason. The B1257 heading north to Teesside appears again and again on lists of the UK's best roads for motorcyclists. But its place in the accident stats is just as prominent. And today, an off-duty cop has dialed 999 with news of another crash.
The ambulance service.
Yeah, this is the ambulance service. We'll be there as soon as they can.
We've got one injured down on the ground and we've got him in a recovery position, but he is quite seriously injured. So we're on a slope. I'll try and identify somewhere that the air ambulance could land, if possible.
Believe it's a motorbike and an HGV. RV on scene has said patient is unconscious with severe injuries.
The accidents happened near the hamlet of Laskill in remote Bilsdale. But the location sounding familiar to pilot Andy Lister.
On the road runs on the scar over the top.
Yeah, but it drops down. Do you know, I have a sneaking suspicion I've done a job on exactly this bend before. There it is, and I have done a job here before. Exactly that bend.
How are we doing?
50-year-old patient.
Yep.
Andy.
Unconscious still.
15. No,
Fifteen.
15.
Biker Andy Broxham is critically injured.
He's not wonderful, is he?
He has very serious facial injuries after a collision with a trailer. Without immediate first aid given to him by off-duty policeman Nick Walmsley, who insisted the air ambulance was scrambled, he may already have died. He's having difficulty breathing.
So what's the story, chaps, just from start to finish?
Right, this gentleman,
Yep.
we came round the corner and we found them. This is Nick.
Hi, Nick. How are you doing, mate, James?
He's a policeman from Northallerton.
Okay.
So he can tell you all about it.
I came over, started talking, but just talking to him, I wasn't getting any response. Tried to feel for a pulse, but couldn't feel anything. It would appear that what's
Let's have a
happened
bag of fluid, please.
as he's come around the bend,
Yeah,
the wagon
please.
has been heading northbound.
Yeah.
He's been heading southbound. And he has hit the trailer of the wagon.
Andy was wearing his helmet, but unlike many, it has no protection for the face. His jaw is shattered and he's lost much of the flesh around his nose and jaw, which is broken in 7 places.
We've got a line in.
Yeah, airway is precarious, if nothing else.
Yeah.
GCS is 14, 15.
This is by far the most serious facial injury paramedic James Vine has ever seen.
Just get him onto this trolley. If we just bring it nice and close.
The patient has got serious facial injuries, but his head injury is not so bad. We're just going to scoop and run him. He doesn't need any immediate intervention other than to get to hospital quickly. Are we still out of time for James Cook? We leave in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
It's early evening and the team is running out of daylight to get the patient to hospital. Strict rules ground air ambulances at night, and there's too little time to reach the James Cook Trauma Unit in Middlesbrough.
If I was to go to James Cook, I wouldn't have sufficient hours in the day. So I think we've come up with an alternative plan whereby we can transport the casualty and the doctor to York.
There's no time to lose. James and flying doctor Simon Ward know Andy's injuries could cause him to lose the ability to breathe at any moment. But for the off-duty cop who has already saved the biker's life today, it's a moment for relief.
The first thing I was aware of was another car flashing its headlights as we passed. Coming to then, lots of motorcycles. I work here. I know how bad this is for road accidents.
Just make sure you're footing. Just try and keep head. That's it.
Came around the bend, saw him lying, saw the state of his face and thought, ow. Nobody was applying first aid. They tried to get a pulse by then, so the first thing I did was talk, pulse, but I couldn't apply any pressure.
OK, chaps, it's going to be a bit of a lift. If we can lift him as high as we can, try and keep the weight off the stretcher.
So it's just talk, telephone going, give the ambulance service as much as I've got over the phone. Can I have a helicopter, please?
You just start closing it all up behind us, John.
Helimed 99 is almost ready for takeoff, but James and Simon have real concerns. Andy's airway is getting worse.
Come off the bike, Andy. You're doing ever so well. I know it's difficult to breathe. It's because you've fractured some bones in your face.
He'll be lucky to survive his flight to hospital.
Now let's return to the North York Moors, where Dr. Simon is concerned about the condition of a biker with terrible facial injuries.
In the market town of Helmsley, bikers are beginning to head home after yet another accident involving a rider on the notorious route north to Teesside.
Helimed 99, we're just lifted from the scene, heading towards York, ETA approximately 10 minutes over.
Andy Broxham from Hull is on his way to hospital in York on board Helimed 99, and the team is concerned.
He's a lucky fella, this one, is he?
Oh, he's not there yet, yeah. You roll him on his back, he's just going to explode straight away, I think. The only reason he's still alive is because he was prone when they got there, I think.
Andy's having difficulty breathing because of the severe facial injuries he suffered in a collision with a lorry. Surgeons at York District Hospital are preparing to operate. At the same time, police from Hull rush Andy's wife 40 miles to York to be at his side. She's told he's not expected to survive.
OK, John, you all right there? OK, and the rest of the way, 1, 2, 3, lift. Beautiful.
Andy's skull is broken in so many places, facial surgeons have to rebuild his nose, jaw and airway. He has countless operations, but with the medical team's skill and his own will to survive, just 2 months later, the team at Air Ambulance HQ are waiting for a special visitor.
Obviously quite apprehensive. Last time we saw Andy, he was in a very bad way. His face was horrendous, really.
Hello.
How are we doing? This must be Andy.
I am. You must be James.
Pleasure to meet you. How are you?
It's a good pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely. How's the face?
I'll tell you that.
You're looking 100% better than when I saw you last time.
Yeah, I've looked worse.
Well, you look worse when I saw you.
I ain't looked much better, actually.
I can see it. Have they improved how it was before?
Oh, yeah.
Andy has little recollection of the accident that changed his life forever. He and his wife Angela want to understand what happened.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Any stage, just saying we'll stop it, and you'd come round that corner and be thrown. There was a policeman who was driving behind, wasn't there?
Yeah,
if I remember.
Policeman, yeah.
I mean, he'd put you into a position where because I think you were face down and he'd rolled you over. He shouldn't be here today, you know. The impact was severe enough to, one, cause him a massive head injury into a cerebral bleed or snap his neck. Hey? Did you push your wrist as well?
I broke my thumb.
Thumb, that was it, yeah, because every time you went quiet we tweaked your thumb. Because it was the only thing that kept you awake. But that's a trick to the trade. It was easy because I could just hold your hand while we were in the flight then, and every time you went a bit quiet we'd just give your thumb a little tweak.
The only reason he's still alive is because he was prone when they got there, I think.
When you look at the footage, when you look at what happened and my injuries, it's pretty amazing, really.
But for Andy and Angela, another ordeal is just around the corner. The start of surgery to give him back his face. It will be long and painful.
Plastic surgery is a multi-million-pound business, but it's not all about brow lifts or a bit of nip and tuck. People with facial injuries rely on the surgeon's skill to give them their lives back. And biker Andy Broxham is one of them.
Breakfast is ready.
Just 6 months after the bike crash that almost killed him, Andy's deep in the Yorkshire Dales, halfway through a coast-to-coast bike ride to raise money for the Helimed team.
We're doing the Way of the Roses, 170 miles, all uphill, easy.
The cyclists include 2 colleagues who were with Andy the day he crashed.
It's given him something to focus on, organising things and getting everybody ready for it and little planning meetings and everything.
He's a strong character. I didn't realise how strong he is. I think he's got more operations to go, but I think he's going to be all right, and it is a big relief.
It's taken a lot of organising. Andy's driving the support vehicle. He sees the whole trip as part of his rehabilitation.
Everybody at work, it's been absolutely fantastic. And for them to do this, really, they're doing it for me. It's very humbling. Can't thank them enough.
Two days, 100 miles and many steep hills later, Andy and his wife Angela have arrived at the finish point, and on cue, his cycle team.
Hey, oh, he's going to listen here. Oh, what's your kid?
Nice one.
Andy doesn't realise, but there's also a surprise visitor to welcome him and the team to Bridlington.
The policeman.
Sergeant Nick Walmsley made the call that made the difference between life and death.
I'm not so bad.
You look a darn sight better than the last time I see you. I tell you that.
A lot of people say that.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you've got a few
of all these people that helped me survive, I think Nick is the one that made the biggest difference.
I knew the area because I've used the air ambulance on many occasions. Well, if you're stuck out there in the middle of nowhere, they're the lads and lasses that can get there quickest. What a resilient man. What a strength of character. It's a terrible, terrible ordeal to try and get through. And if it wasn't for the largeness of the man, just in frame but also in spirit, it could have been a very, very different story.
Andy and his team of cycling work colleagues raised the money they wanted for the air ambulance. But with that job done, there's another target. That will mean going back to hospital.
I know I'm not going to look perfect. I didn't before. I know I'm not going to look anything like. But I just want to be able to eat and chill. And once I can, do that, I can start eating proper things. That's all I ask for. That's all I want.
A few weeks later, at Hull Royal Infirmary, Andy is at the beginning of the next stage, reconstruction.
I keep thinking I should be nervous, but I'm not, because I'm sort of more excited to get, to finally getting on with it. I'm just saying, sort of bring it on.
So there's 2 isolated screws just floating under the roof.
I was looking at some pictures the other day, and, obviously I look different, but my face is rounder and just looks like a completely different person.
Andy's op will last 3 hours. The team of surgeons must remove these metal plates put in to patch the broken bones together. It takes longer than expected, but Andy's surgeon is optimistic.
I think his mood is lifting at the moment. I think he's getting his life back on tracks, and I think we've just got to do what we can do to continue to improve his lot, really. And I don't think there's a quick fix.
And Andy is prepared to wait. He knows he's lucky to be alive.
And I'm pleased to say Andy and his workmates are planning more fundraising events for the helicopter paramedics who saved his life.
Homes Under the Hammer is coming up next, including a former newspaper office that's set to make a few more headlines.